Hi, Cancerians. This is your reading for the next week, and it's with the most benevolent outcome for whatever you're experiencing that you need help with, being the intent. So, like, take a breath and intend that you gain the guidance for the most benevolent outcome. For whatever it is, whether it's a job situation or a relationship or whatever, okay? Most benevolent outcome for all involved. How do we get there? Stop feeling sorry for yourself because you're repelling your union and your partnerships and your friends and family and neighbors and blah, 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 because you've been emitting an energy of you're not good enough. You may go to sicknesses or illnesses to put yourself at discomfort so that you can make excuses to not go anywhere. Oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, I'm feeling kind of, this or that. Or, oh, I feel bloated. Just too scruffy today. Whatever. But you're fine. Because if you were really that sick, you wouldn't really have the energy to hold a bubble behind your back and to sit on top of someone's head and shine your light, would you? So if you're going to shine your light anyway, and you're going to sit on top of someone's head and you're going to communicate, you may as well do it positively. What the fudge is this? The Singer of Courage. And why is there this card in this deck? Okay, Spirit. That's fine. It's cool. Whatever. So move my cards from deck to deck. That's cool. How'd you do that? Okay, Cancer, you're going to need to have, and I'm going to be really honest with you because I don't know how much room this phone has to record. And I don't want to do a part 2 to this. So I'm going to be really honest and like right to the point because you're a Cancer sign and your energy of your zodiac sign itself, the filter that your light came through, is one of constantly avoiding shit. And I say that with the utmost respect because I have lots of family that's Cancerians, lots of Cancer water in my chart, and I think actually in my Western chart. I'm in Western, my ascendant is a 0 degrees Leo, I think. Whatever. This energy of, yeah, I can, but, yeah, I could, but, yeah, he did this, but, yeah, she did that, but, everything always has a but to it because of some negative energy based excuse. So you can't, go to Spain because you have money problems. You can't have $1 million because you're not getting paid enough. You can't wear those pants because your gut is too big. What the fudge ever. Could you please transmute it to the sanitized and disinfected version? You can't wear those pants because you really enjoyed the cake you ate repeatedly and baked more cakes and ate more of them. And you had a lot of fun and you're working out to lose the weight. You're eating healthier and, incorporating more fruits and veggies into your diet. You're taking the courage to look at yourself and the cycles you've been in, to move out of those cycles and to make changes because you're actually passionate about your body, your connections, yourself, and you're tired of delving in the fear realms. I mean, how much are you really gaining out of life? Hiding in your shell, limiting the amount of people you interact with, except if it's sexual. And then the only courage you express throughout your day is, are you gonna reply with a dick pic or a titty pic or some shit? Like, this is low life behavior. Being asked to have the courage to level yourself up. It's ugly. And I'm not sorry for saying it this way. This energy is filthy ugly. Like, alleyway hookups, ugly. Oh, thank you. If you would just have the courage to look at your behavior and how it's really, really weird and ugly to people. And I don't mean vain ugly as in like your features or any of that bullshit, because you're beautiful and perfect. You're in a human body, therefore you're automatically perfect. But what you're doing to the human body is like going into someone's house where they're just a hoarder, and all they're hoarding is excuses so that they can keep people away. So like, instead of going and collecting a bunch of, glass bottles so that you can put lights in them and make decorations, you're just collecting glass bottles so that you can catch fruit flies in them and then leave them there. And then in order for you to change that behavior, you're going to have to go and clean all the mess you made, which means you're going to have to be courageous to look at the bottle full of dead, nasty things in it. And I apologize for being so graphic with this in a way, but this is really gross and this should not be allowed. Like this, no, you deserve so much better than this. This is like somebody not taking a shower for a month and then like walking around in the grocery store and nobody's telling them. Like, no, this is not good. No. Like that person has to be told, you need to take a shower, or like you got to do this or you got to do that. Not in a blunt way, but to have the courage to inform this person or yourself, like, hey, your house needs to be cleaned up, or this promiscuity thing you're doing is completely self-sabotaging. The smoking habit you have is going to destroy your life one day if it hasn't already. You have to take on the aspect of the wise, Christ-like, goddess, God-like being within you, the bright and shining morning star yet again. Jesus Christ, man. You have to take on the aspect of your I am presence and lead your human self out of the muck into a better day. You have to. Like, you have to so much that a card from another deck was in this deck. And when I was doing the previous readings, I've shuffled, cleared, meditated, and, done all of that stuff. So there's no reason this card should have been in this deck when it belongs to this deck, and they were separated 2 readings ago. And that card came up in the last reading, which wasn't near, whatever. Ugh. You're being really, really urged to get yourself out of the low vibrational states of living. Really. Pretend that your current habits and lifestyles are so wrong that you don't see how wrong they are. Like, you've thought your entire life that what you've been doing is the good way of doing things, but it's actually been the wrong way of doing things because, excuse me, I just hiccuped and burped. Oh, that felt so weird. The way you've been doing things has been taught to you by somebody who really didn't give a fuck about you. So like when you're, or maybe they didn't give a flying F during the time they were teaching you something. So maybe your mom, when you were little, taught you how to brush your teeth, but growing up, you never learned how to, you thought that you knew how, but it was the completely wrong way. Or you thought that, something to do with your body, the way you eat, sleep, do things, your hygiene, your sense of self-worth, the way you look at yourself and dress yourself, was taught to you the wrong way. And it's no one else's fault, but it was done so that you can learn how to do it better. But you've been doing it this way for so long, and then like, if somebody tells you you're doing something gross, you might get really offended and see yourself like, and a weird, gross creature. And before someone else tells you, the universe is telling you, hey, this nastiness, burn it off with one of these wands. Have the courage to really start a new cycle, a new version of you, and move forward, enlightened, because you've been in the muck and you've been the sun. Oh, this, I just want to like bleach you. Like, I just want to take a little bit of bleach and, a little washcloth and just clean everything. Oh, that's why. You're coming into union with someone. A relationship, a partner, a new friendship that will last you for a long time. Maybe a divine partnership, a life partnership, a new job. Something where you're joining with an actual other person. Not a, well, I guess it could be like a career change. Like you're joining with the energy of another career, like going from being a lawyer to a school teacher, or a school teacher to a doctor. Something where the energy shifts to two new energies. The third reading I've done today with this card coming out. Your life is about to level up, and if you continue your habits that you have now, you're going to look like a mess to the people you're going to. See? If you continue smoking, you're going to look like a terribly whatever. If you continue to being a tramp, you're going to look really trampy to people you're going to be involved with, because they're a completely different caliber of people. You're about to be leveled up out of your own playing field into a completely higher class playing field. Timelines are changing. Fairies of the future show up to show you that the train track you're on is about to go the other way. And not in a complete reversal or, 180 kind of way. No, like you're just moving in a better direction. And it's also another example I'm being shown is a toddler at the age of 1 or 2 or whatever, wearing a diaper. Totally normal, right? Now at 16 they're still wearing the diaper, but only because they thought it was normal. They're not doing it because they're broken. They're not doing it because they're incapable of being better. They're not doing it because their, intent is wrong or whatever. They just simply don't know any better, because no one had the courage to tell them. And their parents probably didn't know any better, and so on and so forth, because your soul wanted to learn how to connect with the side of yourself that takes care of you. To be your own father figure, to be your own mother figure, to have the courage to grow yourself up and move forward in life as your true self, with codependency issues and self-esteem issues, and still making it. You can do this. And if no one's told you that those jeans look terrible on you, or that your hair looks weird like that, or that, you deserve better than being 1,000 pounds or weighing less than 1,000 pounds, then let me be the first. You deserve better than to live a life where you're using your body to hide behind, to avoid being intimate with people, to use your body and your face and your physical existence to sabotage your own future because of excuses of being unworthy of the standard of life. This card is disgusting to me, because it shows me that you don't believe you are worthy of the same quality of life as someone that is born right now, or 10 years ago, or 20 years in the future. You somehow have the imprinted, deep down ingrained thing that will take courage to uproot, of thinking you're unworthy of having a sanitized house, of having a night's sleep where you can just sleep without being woken up, of having a dog that doesn't shit or piss all over your floor, of having a boyfriend or a girlfriend that is kind to you. And look at that. I just noticed this. It's the Om symbol. You see it? Have the courage to see. This symbol is also called the seed of the universe. Have the courage to see that you are just as worthy as anybody else, because you are also a seed of the universe. And it's time you join with someone in a really beneficial, positive way. And so you don't make a fool of yourself, it's time that you clean your act up. And this is actually very positive. Oh, see? You already know. You already know. Oh, jeez Louise. You're going to transform in such a gorgeous way. You have no idea what you're going to look like. Look, 5611. This adds up to an 11. That's an 11. These two are also two people. Union. 11 is union, by the way. Two wands next to each other would be looking like they're an 11. Have the courage to face that which you need to face so that you can move forward with grace, please. Doesn't matter how slimy or terrible you've been, you can change, you can clean up, you can take a shower, you can get out of your PJs, you can start eating healthier, you can eat oranges and, fruits in the morning with some eggs or whatever, instead of all that bacon and bread and yeast and dough. And then sitting there and doing nothing, instead of doing that, why don't you just go for a walk? Put your headphones on, listen to some music while you're walking. You don't have to jog, you don't have to do anything, just walk. Go notice the trees, go notice the intricacy of how the sunlight touches the leaves and what it looks like. The Saint of Authenticity, Perpetua. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. If this is your energy, are you authentic? Are you? Is this who you really are? Because if it is, keep it up. Like, really do this to the best of your abilities. But if it's not your authentic self, then what the fudge are you doing wasting your time? Being less than, being, oh, I was hurt and I was this and I was that. Yeah, so were we. Everybody was. What's your point? Oh, but the pain was so bad and it made me go through this, and I spent decades just feeling miserable and being victimized. And then I have these health conditions because I went through all of this bullshit, and I got that because I went through this, and I got this because of that. Is that how your mental chatter sounds like? Because it's frustrating. And it's inauthentic. I mean, at least if it was authentic, I'd be like, cool, sorry to hear that. Let's fix it. But it just sounds like, it feels like a valley girl making excuses to why she's so pretty. And why she can't be pretty enough because everybody sees her prettiness. Like, get out of here. Just be your authentic self. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you're doing. Just clean yourself up and show up to life. The mother of believers, I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. Oh, but they did this and they did that, and I've been so poor because of it, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then can we just remember that you're a beautiful being? And before that partner became that slob, that partner really was kind to you. Before you just dazed and dozed off into the distance, you were actually really, really spontaneous and wild and free. Could you maybe, just maybe, remember what life was like before you decided to blame everybody for the pain you feel? Because it's getting exhausting to sense this energy, so I can't even begin to imagine what it feels like to live in it. Oh my God. Ugh. I'm gonna need like a bucket's worth of sage for this. I need a latte. Of course. Why wouldn't that show up? The Hierophant. This problem has been going on since you've been alive. It's been ingrained in your DNA. It's probably not even part of your life in this life experience. It's like your genetic ancestry that's turned your entire life upside down and made every victory seem like a failure. All because you're all like, well, I'm just gonna be sad. Like, no, you're not just gonna be sad. You're not gonna sit there worrying about all this shit and turning down every opportunity in life that you're gonna get. Pretending you're dead when you're really just alive and you're bored out of your mind because you're just a little kid. What does this mean? Your inner child needs you. Because somebody was mean to your inner child and you ignored that meanness because you were taught that it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay for what they did to you. It's not okay for how they treated you. It is most definitely not okay for you to justify what they did to you by doing it to yourself, to perpetuate the pain and scarring so that someday you can explain to people all the ways you were hurt by so and so. Because look at that. That means I was hurt. Actually, it doesn't. What it means is that you hated yourself enough to allow that pain to stay in your body, to form a scar, so that you can show people that you were victimized, so that you can get the sympathy vote. That's what that card is. That entire reading could have been done with just gloom and his doom and me lecturing you. Cancer, take a piece of rose quartz, hold it in your hand, or just go outside and touch a tree. Go tune in to nature. Allow your human animal body to evolve into a God state. Okay? Enough crab, enough lobster. All they do is get boiled or they hide under the soil. Could you maybe now become a sea dragon? Could you become a giant crustacean, planet? Could you just evolve slightly, ever so quickly? Because the world needs the Cancer sign to be the mother again, and not the thing that grabs and holds on and clenches until it dies, kills something. Like, the Cancer is supposed to be the mom, not the disease. So will you please be a mom to yourself this week and for the rest of your life? Because blaming people for not being your mom or being your friend or any of that bullshit ain't gonna fly anymore. Just think if there were telepaths in the world. Would you really be able to hide your problems if everyone in the world was telepathic? What would be the solution, right? For you to solve your problems. So start pretending that everyone in the world is a superpowered being and no one, like, you're not hiding from anyone. Everyone sees you and everyone loves you. Even little Miss Lily. And I love you too. Please go buy some water. Like, sit by the lake, drink some filtered water. Go to the forest, go for a walk, touch the earth with your feet. Do something that brings you to your senses. Accept self-sabotaging things. Just pretend that human society doesn't exist for a few days and be your druid, fairy, deva self. Be your goddess mother self. Or your goddess father, godfather self. Not the godfather. You know what I mean. Go back to the elements. Cleanse yourself off. and re-emerge as the goddess, aka God, that you are, and not the crab hiding in a shell waiting for somebody to catch it in a net. Like, no, you don't need that. You're loved and you're worth it. And you're absolutely valid, and you have every affirmation you could ever want written inside you and in your heart. Just please put the self-pity aside. Because the only person gaining from that self-pity is nobody. People are losing out because they don't know you, because you're busy hiding. Even if you're with them, you're hiding a part of yourself because you're being inauthentic. Because of pain and insecurity. Leave that shit behind. You have better waters to go to. And it doesn't involve conflict for you. You leave the conflict behind. Balance out all that water and insecurity with some passion. Create something. I love you. Take care of yourself, please.